So when Earnie Shavers wrapped up dozens of KO wins, everybody thought, hey, there's going to be a situation where he's going to fight for the world title. Now, he had a couple of key fights against Larry Holmes right after this battle, but for Ali, who was reducing in skills to take on the great knockout artist, at the time, only Mike Tyson, during his own era, was comparable to Shavers. Shavers had lost some key fights against contenders, including Jerry Corey, but he had lots of pop left. But the problem is with Shavers, he would punch himself out after the 5th round, and I think Ali's handlers thought they were going to be doing this in this title fight, but it never emerged, and Shavers came within a whisker of knocking out Muhammad Ali in the 15th round. Only Ali's guile and pretending he wasn't hurt stopped Shavers from knocking him out. So this fight was held September 29, 1977. Again, the fight went the full distance, with Ali emerging the winner through a unanimous decision. Now, the Black Destroyer entered the fight with getting his biggest payday. Shavers' payday for the fight was 10 times less than Ali's, who got $3 million for the bout, which would be comparable to $20 million now. Shavers got $300,000, and again, the sum was more than he earned during his entire career. Now, the first round, very easy going, but by the second round, Ali was badly hurt by Shavers' big hands. He also pretended to be even more hurt than he was, and deceived Shavers into thinking he was play acting, resulting in Shavers not going for a knockout. By finishing each round strongly, Ali won favor with the judges. Shavers put out a strong performance in the 13 to 14 rounds, but Ali finished the 15th round very strongly, nearly knocking Shavers down with a flurry of punches towards the end of the fight. Some experts regard Ali's performance in Shavers' fight to be one of the finest in his boxing career. For him to outlast a fighter that was destined to knock his head off was just amazing. Now, the tape of the fights on YouTube has been dissected and discussed, because Shavers was a fighter that we thought was going to fade away very quickly, because with heavy knockout punchers, they fade after having a 4 or 5 year top level. And taking over Shavers, anytime he went against a top fighter, he was usually defeated. Now, commenting on the fight, the great writer Pat Putnam, who was a long-time boxing writer for SI, said, "That fight with Shavers, and particularly the last round, sums it up for me what Ali was all about. Even though he was long past his prime, he could have taken him out. He had him hurt early. Ali was ready to be taken, because if Shavers hit you, you were gone. But he suckered Earnie. He faked being more hurt than he was, and caught him out of going for the kill. He fought through that. He fought through 14 rounds. Now, people talk about the thrill in Manila, they talk about Foreman, they talk about Listen. But to me, the 15 round against Shavers was as magnificent as any round Ali ever fought. He was exhausted. I don't know where he found the strength and stamina to go on, because when he went back to his corner after 14, there was nothing left in his body. But he came out for that last round and fought 3 minutes as good as any 3 minutes I've ever seen. Not many people remember it now, but late in the round, he even had Shavers in trouble, and only the ropes kept Shavers from going down. Now, 1977 was a tremendous year for boxing, and again, a lot of people, especially on information sites like FightCity.com, call it Ali's greatest hour. Now, the idea of this it came about a decade after he took on Shavers. Excuse me, a decade after he lost his title, and then when he fought Shavers, it was a long route to that match, because a lot of people felt that Shavers would have been world heavyweight champion after Foreman if Ali would not have fought Foreman in '74. Now, according to, again, FightCity.com, it was Ali's ability, confidence, character, and intelligence that were all on display to a greater degree than any other performance. With the possible exception of his defeat to Joe Frazier in '71, there was no comparison. Now, Ali versus Shavers, again, more than soloed against Foreman or Frazier, that Ali had to call in all three elements in tandem to put them in effective use, which was defense, offense, and dominance. Now, known even by the casual fan, perhaps undeservedly, as one of the three heaviest hitters in boxing history, Shavers faced Ali when the aging champions lost his speed and compromised fundamentals made him easy to hit. During what was undoubtedly the finest performance of his career, Shavers would land the biggest blows he could, summoned many times, but Ali's chin held up as he took those bone-jarring punches. Ali figured out ways to prevent Shavers from following up, and taking full advantage. Now, at different points in his career, Shavers would let hurt opponents get away, most significantly against Larry Holmes and Ron Lyle. But with those bouts, it was Shavers' physical limitations which cost him. Holmes outboxed Earnie and Lyle outfought him, and he tired in both contests. But against Ali, he was defeated because the greatest outthought him and cunningly exploited his insecurities about those same physical limitations, particularly Shavers' weak stamina, which is saying if you get Shavers past round 5, you had a chance to defeat him. Now, at the time, Ali was 35, but Earnie was still fresh and most dangerous during his career. Now, in other words, for Ali to win the fight in the later rounds, Shavers had to be convinced to win some of the early ones. But all this had to be done with Earnie completely cognizant of the rope-a-dope and paranoid about his own ability to go the distance. Now, Shavers, again, had Ali hurt in round 2, but again, it was Muhammad's clowning that let him get away. Now, the idea as the rounds went on, Shavers would get his majority of his punches in, but Ali would stand toe-to-toe and outslug Shavers, even stagger him in the final seconds. Now, when the unanimous decision was made, it was a slim but clear margin for Ali. Now, at the time, he was 7 years past his peak. They did a post-fight press conference, and they both basically said it was a great fight, but according to Sports Illustrated, they didn't seem to wait. It was a desperate victory. And a lot of people were saying he should have retired after Manila. They were undoubtedly saying it after he defeated Shavers. There was a Ring magazine article I read many years ago that said the only reason why Shavers didn't knock Ali out is that he was fighting not only the Ali in front of him, but the cosmic Ali, or the greatest, like in the mind. You see, there was only one hockey team back in the day that could handle the Edmonton Oilers and the Wayne Gretzky Oilers. It was the Chicago Blackhawks, and bear with me for a second. Every other team that took on the Oilers during that glory heyday, besides of course the Islanders in the first Stanley Cup that the Islanders lost, it seemed like, you know, they weren't intimidated by just playing their game. But the Oilers could be defeated if you didn't put them too much on a pedestal. In this fight, Shavers fought every round. He fought against two people, again, the cosmic Ali and the physical Ali, and he outthought himself. If he just went in as Earnie Shavers, what he would do against the other opponents that he knocked out, and he knocked out quite a few. But if you have a chance, again, watch round number 15. Brutal round, where basically the majority of punches are landing. And my old boxing buddy from Frankton always said, a bald heavyweight with bad intentions is dangerous. Earnie Shavers went in every fight with bad intentions. Now, Larry Holmes barely defeated him in the 2 fights they got together, because Larry Holmes basically was intimidated by Shavers' power, so it was completely different. So that's the story of Ali Shavers. If you like what we're doing here with a Vintage Boxing Podcast, let me know with a like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget, the 1970s for boxing, if it's not the best decade you've ever seen for boxing. About 500 fighters led the way. 500 of the greatest fighters of all time, of the top 1,000, came from the 1970s. And just countless great heavyweights, light heavyweights, middleweights, welterweights, lightweights, feather, bantam, fly, tremendous. And the Shavers fight, the undercard alone was worth going to see the fight. Tremendous. Thanks for listening. Bye.